Hey, what is going on, guys? This is SMEB Reviews, and today we're taking a look at the newest studio album from the Decemberists. I'll Be Your Girl. Let's get to it. Alright, I admit it, I'm a newbie to the Decemberists, but I did check out some of their material, and yes, this album is quite different from what they have been doing. A lot of their stuff is much more focused on the folk aspect of their music. They're definitely a folk pop band, folk indie pop, maybe, depending on the song, but they definitely focus on the folk. In this album, the folk kind of takes a back seat. It does appear in some songs, and it definitely is an element of a lot of them, but even when it's present, it's definitely not the forefront. It's usually indie. Indie pop is definitely much more what I'd say to describe this album, because there are elements of new wave or like glam rock kind of. So I could see the indie part of it kind of encompassing all of that, and honestly, I'd say that the indie kind of overweighs the folk part of it. But that's not to say the folk isn't present. It's definitely there. It's just more of an indie folk pop sound. It's different, and it's honestly very enjoyable. I know a lot of people. I was listening to it, or I looked up a couple reviews just because I wanted to see kind of where some other people were coming from with this album. As I said, I'm a newbie to this band, and I wanted to see what people who actually did like the Decemberists were saying about it. And while it seems like most people are enjoying this album, it seems that a lot of people that really like their old sound aren't getting into this as much. I do like their older stuff. What I heard was good. Obviously, it doesn't have the staying power as some things, just because I just listened to it today and yesterday. But yeah, I hadn't heard it very much, obviously. But it is still good music. But this is good too, and it seems like a lot of people don't really like this transition to a more indie pop sound, and I really like it. I really think it suits them well. Obviously, there are a couple misses on the album. I'm not going to say that it's perfect, but honestly, I do think that it is still really good. I mean, there's even a little elements of like a little progressive music in there, especially in one of the last tracks. It's just got a lot of different elements that I really enjoy. It seems like their old stuff was much more ominous and darker sounding. Not all of it, mind you, but it did sound. I seem to notice a lot more of that than upbeat, happy stuff. At least from what I heard. I could be wrong, but from what I heard, it seemed to be much more folk and a lot sadder. And it just, I don't know. I really do like this transition. Some of the songs are silly and goofy, but that's the point, obviously. Some of the songs are supposed to be silly and goofy, and honestly, I like it. Everything is Awful is a perfect example. That title kind of encompasses what's goofy about it. It is goofy, but yet it's still really catchy, really fun, and as a whole, I feel like this album really works. It's not like any of it feels disjointed. I don't feel like they took a big step, whereas nothing sounds like the rest of their work, and everything sounds different. It all sounds like a good, cohesive work that does fit with their discography. And as I said, fans maybe don't like it as much because they love the band the way they were. But yet, I still really like it, and I would never say it's selling out. They're just trying to experiment. They're just trying to step out of their boundaries, and I like the step they took. And when I say goofy, it's not because it's unintentional. It's meant to be. It's meant to happen. It's intentional. They're very self-conscious, at least from what I've gathered, with what they're doing. They know that what they're making is kind of goofy, and they know that the music is kind of silly sometimes. And that's the point. They're self-conscious of it, and while sometimes being self-conscious isn't all you need, it is in this situation. It's definitely what they needed. They knew some of these lyrics are goofy, and so they own it. They even some of the delivery is kind of goofy just in itself. Honestly, I can't say anything negative about that. It is good. Even the lyrics in general. I mean, yes, when they're not the silly lyrics I'm talking about, it's still pretty good lyrically. I mean, there are some throwaway lines that don't do much, but there are some pretty good, interesting lines and interesting topics that are discussed in this album. Honestly, it is a really good album, and I was kind of blown away because I kind of just listened to this by chance. I was trying to think of what I could do, and I know Stone Temple Pilots came out with an album this week, but I thought lots of people are going to review it. Let's do something different. And I'm actually really surprised with what I found. Your Ghost and Severed, they've got so much energy, so much life to them, and actually really good lyrics. I mean, they really are. Severed's even about mass shootings, which is interesting. I mean, it's an interesting topic and one that they didn't shy away from exploring. I like it. I like that. And there are some songs, like I said, Cutting Stone. Honestly, one that is a little more folksy, and it does kind of fall short. It's a little dumb lyrically. It's not that it's cheesy or anything. It's just it's just dumb. I see what they're trying to do with it, and I think it was close. But with the melody that's kind of a little cheesy in of itself, it kind of falls flat. But even then, it's not a terrible song, just not on the standard of some of the other songs on this track, or on this album. I don't know, I'm really digging this album. I know not as many people will probably love it quite as much as I do, and I think it is because if anyone's had a history with this band, it is different. I could see there being a problem there. I really liked it regardless. I thought it was a really good album. And I really like where they were going with this album. There are some points where it kind of falls flat, and so it's obviously wouldn't be a perfect rating or something, but it's still pretty good, and I do really enjoy it. Honestly, if it wasn't for some of the weaker tracks, especially Cutting Stone, I just don't really like that song. But if it wasn't for that track specifically, this would probably get a 9, but instead I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. What did you guys think of this album? Please let me know down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know. Is there anything I can do to improve my setup or the content that I provide to you? Is there any albums that you'd like me to check out? Please let me know that too down below. Seriously, thank you guys so much for watching these videos, and I'll see you guys later.